going on, everybody? Michael McFarland here. Yep, gonna give you another Lake Fork rundown. Friday the 9th, Friday, July 9th. I think I talked to you Tuesday. I think I did. I hope I did. Right before my birthday. Anyways, lake levels pretty much kind of staying the same as we've been talking. It's dropping at such a small amount you can't even notice it. But from Tuesday, 402.84 to today, 402.77. That's just the smallest amount. We must not be using any local municipal water at all right now. That's really good. I like to see it lower. The lower it gets now, the more those fish come out of the backwaters as they get hot. There's less cover, less trees, less everything, less bulrushes, less of the tree debris, and even grasses kind of start to come out. The alligator weed kind of starts to come out of the water, and it forces those fish offshore. I don't want it to go too low. I don't want to kill all the grasses and things like that. But I do like that lake to get down. And we're kind of at that point. So Lake Fork green. It's beautiful. Beautiful color. 1 to 3 foot visibility. Depends on where you are on the lake. You're going to see that change in the shallow backwaters. You get around grass, it may be cleaner. You get out around a wind-blown area, and it may be a little more dirty. But generally, the color is Lake Fork green. And like Mark Pack used to talk, that's when she's good. When it's Lake Fork green and or gunmetal blue, if you ain't catching them out there, you're doing something wrong. So 83 to 89, 83, 87, good winds today, so it churns the lake, kind of cools things off with the deeper water being mixed with the upper water column. That's soon to balance out, and basically we'll end up having the water temperature be one pretty much water column, the same temperature at the top as it is at the bottom, with a little bit of daily variation. And that's it. So this is all good. It's probably the most stable time that we've had all year. Still a little bit of like rain here and there, thread of rain, but nothing that's made a change. And man, if you ain't following on Facebook, the Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service, or me on Instagram, the Lake Fork Guide, you're missing out because the Goat Lake is showing out. The last 5 days of fishing have been outrageous for McFarland Fishing and my guests. And of course, namely my guest, because I don't fish. But, you know, by no means am I discrediting the BAS Elite Champion, Lee Livesay, who pulled off a record weight when he counted the most in a first place win and a $100,000 payday. And so please don't get this wrong. I'm making this statement to really showcase, as he did, how incredible Lake Fork is, why we call it the Goat Lake. It's so full of big fish that Lee Livesay weighed 114 pounds in 4 days. What an incredible deal to produce with all the fishing against the best of the best, under all that pressure, and when he had to do it. And amazing. Lake Fork has shown out. I've been the dog that found a bone the last 5 days. I literally have, because we have 122 pounds for 4 days. And today, of course, we were on our way there. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But last Friday, 32 pounds. Saturday, 25 pounds. Tuesday, 35 pounds. Is that not crazy? Yesterday, 30 pounds. I'm sorry, Tuesday was 30 pounds, and yesterday was the 35-pound sack. 35 pounds yesterday. That's 4 days, 122 pounds on the Goat Lake with clients. And my people could fish, so I got to give some credit there too. But the lake is so full of big bass. I'm telling you about it. If you ain't been here, you need to be. That's the whole point of sharing all that. All right. Kudos, Lee Livesay. I think he's in 3rd right now on Champlain. Was not trying to take from that monster. Awesome showcase of Lake Fork guide we've got. But I do want to make you guys recognize that, man, this is the Goat Lake. It's unreal. We're just crushing them. And I'm just simply doing my same old routine. So what is that routine? I've been telling you about it. I know it gets a little monotonous. So I'm going to try and make this one a little bit more entertaining. We're going to go into not necessarily depth, but I'm talking about a few other things. If you don't know what this is rod socks. Okay, this protects your rod when you put it in your Suburban or in your rod locker. It keeps them from scratching, banging on other rods. It keeps line from tangling. I think it's the best $8 you'll spend to protect your rod. Okay, my rod, basically designed, kind of put together by me in essence. Overall, that's really where this generated from, and that's why I call it the McFarland's Signature, which is really the showroom floor stock model at Real Time Rods. All right, this one that I run the shaky head with, okay, is an MB 7'3", 1530. All right, I also throw the jig on it, the 3/4 ounce Sandtone football jig. Now, right now, I'm not catching them on the jig. I cannot catch fish this year on the jig. Maybe it has something to do with why all the crawfish aren't in the water. Right? I have a pond, and 90% of my crawfish are all over my property, making domes out where I got to mow. It's crazy.Ey're not in the pond where they usually should be. But I'm not on a jig bite. What I am on is a Magnum trick worm, watermelon candy red, on a shaky head and or Texas rig. So again, the shaky head goes on the jig rod, MB 7'3", 1530. 20-pound fluorocarbon line, high-speed gear ratio reel, 8-to-1. I'm choosing the Daiwa Tatula XS right here. This is a 100 XS, 8-to-1 gear ratio. It's really awesome, really perfect combination to pull these big fish up and out of the junk, if that's what I'm in, and bring them home as quick as I need to. Don't let them have their head or they're gone, okay? That's what happened to us today. We were on our way. We didn't have the bites like we did yesterday. We had to work for it. It took all day. And basically we got, in the afternoon, we finally got the right bites. And we had 6 of them and only landed 3. The other 3 wrapped us up in the trees. And it's a really tough deal. But the way I'm fishing in that heavy trees, the heavy situation, heavy cover, is not the shaky head. The shaky head, as we said in the last rundown, was for shell beds, hard bottom areas, a little more cleaner areas. It's a Sandtone football shaky head. You don't want to throw it in the standing heavy timber. All right, when I go to the timber, that's where I've really been getting the best fishing. The deep trees, in other words. All right, they're in 22, 28 feet of water. The full trees there, or half the trees there anyways. There's enough there to hold a school of fish. I go Texas rig. All right, 20-pound line, same reel. You can change to a 7-1 gear ratio, but you want that high gear ratio to really get that fish up out of the tree. 20-pound fluorocarbon. With the worm rod, I've changed now to a 1225. All right, it's still the MB 7'3" real-time rods, 1225. Tell them McFarland's Signatures. Like I said, really that's the stock model now. The McFarland Signatures are a few extras that you can choose to add. But the rod comes right off the floor, all right? And they may not, of course, have them in stock at all times, but this is what I've been really killing the fish with. Same worm, Magnum trick worm now. So what's the difference, you ask? Well, number one, when I throw this shaky head, I want to try to drag it uphill, which makes for a presentation that's always standing straight up. As it comes up, it stays standing tall. It makes for an incredible presentation. I also like to use it like on a road where I know it's going to stay stood up, road beds and things like that. When I throw that in the timber, as I stated, it's really hard to fish, doesn't do justice, and you're going to lose a lot of them. You're going to contend with getting more hung up. So I go to the Texas rig, and generally I try and go as light as possible. Make sure that you have some kind of connectivity. If you've gone so light that you can't feel it as you pull it and fish it, you got to increase the weight, all right? You should be able to go as light as possible because I'm going to tell you now, I've been throwing the Magnum trick worm, but eventually I'm going to get to the power worm, which is the big ribbon tail. And today I finally switched to the Zoom Magnum speed worm that we've been talking about. They want some tail action now, so I want this to fall slower. So I've got to go lighter. Okay, I have to go lighter on the weight to allow this to have that choppy helicopter thump, 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 thump as it falls. I'm going to fish it just like the worm. I'm going to pull it through the trees, but remember to never pull it through the trees. Mooch it through the trees. Have it come forward a little back some, and you kind of have to like strike the object and give it some loosen, and you have to mooch it through it, not pull it through it. We've said this before, all right? But basically, that's the gist of what I'm doing. I think I've kind of been thorough. I'm rambling a little bit because it's the end of the week, and I'm super tired. what I do want to show you one more time is I'm now breaking out the Zoom Mag Speed Worm. I'll get me a little Ziploc here. And I think some of you know right where I'm going. I don't have any of these prepared. And today I did catch a fish on one. I dipped the tail chartreuse and really loaded it up with garlic. But now, I'm going to make sure that when I throw this in the right place, which is where the fish are, location, location, location. As long as this gets in front of their face, old magic reaction's going to have its way. I promise you. So there it is. You see me doing it live. Watch me on Facebook, Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service. Watch me on Instagram, The Lake Fork Guide, and you'll see me post basically not live, but immediate result pictures, daily pictures of what we're doing. All right, if you're not already following, please do. So here you're seeing it. Real-time rods, magic reaction. I'm really loading these up good because these are fat. I'm gonna get the salt on it. Oh, it smells so good. I want to go to Bros, but they ain't got no more crawfish this year. Yes, now you know what this smells like, kind of. It smells good. It's not what you think. A lot of garlic smell to it, but it's just got something else that's just magic. It's just magic. That's why they named it Magic Reaction. But there she is. Should be ready tomorrow. And hopefully now, not only am I bringing them something a little different, if they're ready for that action. Like I said in a couple rundowns back, they wanted straight tail. They didn't want any of that action. If they're ready for that action, I'm now ready for them. All right, man, that's kind of it. I can't think of anything else to help tip you. Remember, in the morning, you got two things going on. Bedrooms and kitchens. The trees are the bedrooms. The kitchens are the points, the wind-blown flats, the shell beds. Yes, the shell beds. Wind-blown shell beds. Those bass can travel and do travel a quarter mile or more each day from the trees where they live. And in fact, biologists say, or the ecologists say up to a mile to feed, for feeding grounds. On Fork, they don't have to travel that far. It's irrelevant. On Lake Mead, they might. But here in Fork, quarter mile across the lake, when the wind changes directions, is nothing for those fish to leave those trees, go feed, and back. The feeding grounds, the feeding tables, is where you throw the jig and the shaky head. And in the trees, the bedrooms, that's where you throw the Texas ringworm. All right? Appreciate y'all watching. It's been a really fun season. It's winding down. I don't have any more dates except some August dates. And listen, I'll be honest, by the time we get to August, I really only want to do half days, some quick mornings, sometimes 2 to 3 hours, and that's about all it's worth. So I still love to take you fishing in August, and it can still produce some excellent fishing. The first couple, 2 or 3 hours are genuinely nice, and then it gets ugly. So appreciate you. I'm Mike McFarland, The Lake Fork Guide, reminding you to hit the thumbs up, comment below, subscribe if you haven't, find me on Facebook, The Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service, and find me on Instagram, The Lake Fork Guide. Appreciate you. God bless, and hope you all catch more fish. That one was fun.